Okay, so let's start off just by kind of breaking down what we're going to achieve here. What we're going to do is introduce you to the CRM applications inside of Aptivo. Aptivo is an entire online suite of business applications. We've got all these different apps from many categories. So we do project management, invoicing, CRM, and many other components. But today we're going to focus specifically on the CRM solution and what's inside of it. This demo is definitely for a brand new user or somebody who's only slightly familiar with the system, and we're going to kind of start off by just covering some of the basic concepts. Okay, so first of all, just as we spoke about a moment ago, we've got a bunch of different applications. They're broken apart into these different categories. So let's quickly just talk about what an application category is as compared to what we like to say is the business function. You'll see CRM lies in the heart of everything. CRM is kind of the center of your entire business. I mean, every business has customers. It's unique whereas not every business has like recruiting or needs for HR or supply chain. Those will differ based on the type of business and their business model. But everybody needs CRM, although inside of CRM you'll see we have several different applications. So there's actually different business functions available inside of our CRM category of apps. The way to think about our platform is we've got these different categories. The category is simply to help you easily group them and navigate throughout the applications. There is no functional barrier between our various apps inside of different categories. You're going to get to pick and choose the individual apps you want and build out an entire solution for your business. This gives you an idea of a few of the solutions we have available. You'll see in the beginning we've listed a couple apps that actually sit inside of our CRM, but the idea is Aptivo is an end-to-end business process emulator. We should be able to execute just about everything your company needs. But we're going to go ahead and dive in, and we're going to be specifically focusing on the beginning portion of this flow, which is leads and opportunities. Those are sales. But when we're talking about sales, I mean, okay, well, what is the difference between sales and CRM? What is CRM? So let's start to break this down. First of all, I wanted to quickly just mention, we're going to be talking about CRM today, but you can definitely configure Aptivo in any way. So you can set up Aptivo as only a CRM system. Although we just talked about all these different features that you've got available, no worries. If you just want a simple CRM system, you can set up the applications and only enable the apps that you specifically want. Everything else will just be hidden away and available for you if you want to check it out later. And everything is available in the cloud. So your CRM applications will actually be available on both iPhone and Android. And really everything we're going to demonstrate today, except for the customer support portion, is going to be supported from your mobile phone. Okay, so let's get to the meat of it. What is CRM? If you're brand new, CRM is Customer Relationship Management. But CRM, when you hear this term thrown around, it can mean many different things. Different softwares will offer different portions of CRM, whereas Aptivo, we cover each individual aspect. There's three primary components of what a CRM system is made of. At the core of everything is contact management, and this is typically what people think about when it comes to CRM. You have a centralized list of every individual person you speak to, their phone numbers, their addresses, and any other details that you'd like to store about them. Really, it's just a Rolodex of all of your business contacts sitting in the cloud, so everybody in your business can always get to it as long as they have an internet connection. Then we move into a little bit more of the transactional type events, which are your sales. We have two applications to help you track your sales, leads and opportunities. Both of these represent a potential business deal, and they both kind of achieve the same thing. But the difference is that your lead or opportunity is going to be related to a contact or customer. So you'll have a single contact, but maybe you run many different opportunities for that one contact. Similar to your sales tracking, we have cases, which is part of our customer support functionality. And once again, these are transactions where you might have one single contact, but many cases that they've reported to you over time. So putting all these together, they all kind of work alongside of each other in order to allow you to track all the sales and give all the support after you close deals for these one central customers. The other main benefit is we have this excellent 360 view, which will show you all this different data no matter what app it's sitting inside of. And we'll go ahead and demonstrate that during the demo. But let's talk a little bit more in depth about the difference between these individual apps. So I want to hone in on these four in particular, because we definitely want to lay down a good understanding. The contact is the kind of core of everything. Anybody you speak to, any person, is a contact. You might have their phone number, address, whatever it might be, even some other details like their hobbies or their child's name or child's birthday. Any piece of information about that person as an individual would go into the contact. But we also have a closely related application called customers. The difference between a contact and a customer is the customer is a buying party. It a lot of time is a collection of contacts, especially in a business-to-business relationship where you're dealing with a company. In that case, the business name, such as Aptivo Inc., would be the customer, and the contact would be Todd Miner, and maybe a few of my other colleagues. And we'd all be this different list of contacts which are related to the one single customer. In the case of a business-to-consumer relationship, your customer could be maybe a collection of individuals, such as the Miner family, or you could even just create the customer name as Todd Miner. And this will definitely differ based on your unique needs as a business, who you work with, whether it's all B2B, all B2C. There's actually an in-depth article located on our blog that you can check out afterwards. The last part, the leads and opportunities. As I mentioned, these are transactions. You may have many opportunities or leads for an individual contact or customer. And these represent an actual business deal. There's a potential sale on the table. And the lead and opportunity, the difference between those two is while they both represent a deal, an opportunity is the qualified version of a lead. In our system, there's actually a standard CRM flow where you begin as a lead, which is essentially just a name and a number, not complete details on that specific lead. And then as you speak to them, you learn more about their organization, their needs, their timeline, budget, everything like this. You will be able to eventually qualify them. And what you do is you actually convert the lead and you create the opportunity, but you're also creating the contact and customer at that point. And we will definitely demonstrate this flow inside of the demo. But all of these are closely related to each other, but they all represent something that is clearly different. Now, before we dive into the demo, the last thing I want to talk about is just the way you're going to use Aptivo at a high level. So yeah, the business function. You're going to be doing customer support. You're going to track sales, or you're going to manage your contacts. But when you're managing your contacts, like what are you actually doing? And that really breaks down to three things that Aptivo helps you achieve. One is just the data management. Having one online portal where everybody in your company can go to and get the latest business data. This is phone numbers, addresses, categorization, sales territories, any data like that. The other part is activity management. So you have a contact in your system. When was the last time you spoke to them? Do you have a meeting scheduled with them next week? Who do you need to call today for your various sales activities? All of these, we've got various different collaboration tools to help you manage things that are sitting on your agenda and give you a nice, simple view that shows you everything you need to be working on. Those are all activities. And then the last portion is a business flow. So this would be the process of taking a sales lead and getting them to that stage where you can go to an opportunity. And then eventually moving beyond that, maybe you have to issue an online quote for them. Then you have to initiate a project and track your services. Then initiate an invoice. We're stepping beyond CRM here. But the idea is we will help you manage the flow of this initial contact, maybe coming in from your website, and nurturing that all the way towards the end when you actually get to invoice that customer and collect payment. All right, so that's enough of these slides. Let's go ahead and show you around the application. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and log into one of my demonstration accounts here, k.clark@glacialtech.com, and let's take a look around. So let's keep those three categories of business functions in mind. We've got business flows, data management, activity management. When you first log in, you'll see we're looking at your agenda right here. This is the core of your activity management. Everything that you might have to be working on will appear here right in this agenda. So you have the capability to get complete visibility into everything. One little note about your agenda, though, is that this will show not just details from your CRM. If you decide to deploy an entire Aptivo installation, include project management and other details like that, everything across your business will all be pushed up to this one single agenda. So our activity management is actually the same across every application. So let's go ahead and let's dive in a little bit deeper to what I mean by there. So this agenda is actually containing 3 different types of activities. We have what's called a follow-up, we have events, and we have tasks. These all represent a slightly different take on something that you need to achieve. The follow-ups and events are very similar to each other. So you'll see we have a calendar which contains events, and we have a view for follow-ups. These are both reminders to communicate with somebody, typically like a contact or a lead in your system. The only difference between these reminders is that an event, something on your calendar, has a very specific start date and end date with a specific time. So a meeting would be an event. Whereas if we go to our follow-ups and we look at one of these, they have a date and a quick little note, but they do not contain a specific time of day. So the usage scenario for this would be if you are contacting a sales lead and you get them on the phone, and let's just say you're talking for a little bit and they ask you to give them a little bit of time. Hey, could you give me a week to think about this decision, and let's touch base early next week. You do not have a certain specific time of day, so what you'll do is you'll put in a follow-up for that. I go schedule the follow-up, and then I can put something in for next week. But let's say if they had said, can you give me a call next Tuesday at 2 p.m.? Well, in that case, I would go ahead and I'd create an event because I do have that set date and time. And the different way to think about this is an event is slightly higher priority than a follow-up because the event cannot be moved, whereas the follow-up can be handled any time during that entire day. Everything else that you might have to work on is considered a task. So if you need to write up a sales proposal, or if you need to go research a competitor, or maybe go look up your potential lead and go see, check out their website and figure out some details about them and how you're going to position yourself, all of those will go into your task list. And you can organize your tasks by priority, by their category. They also have a start date, end date, a lot more capability to help you make sure that you're working on the correct tasks that are most important for your business. But we've only been looking at this central agenda. What this does is it shows you every activity present anywhere in the business. But let's kind of step into the data management portion of it, which is, well, where do I go look up a list of my contacts? I mean, how do I go find somebody's phone number? And then beyond that, well, how do I go find the last time that I spoke to this contact and what did we speak about during that time? So we can kind of get into that level of data management as well. All of your data is stored within the various applications. We have this navigation across the top of the page. And this actually shows you every application which you have enabled in your business. If perhaps you don't see all of the CRM apps like you see right here in your business, it means that you need to go to the App Store and enable them. So, for example, if I wanted to remove work orders or add another app which I don't have, I'm going to go to the upper right corner right here. I'm going to click on App Store. And from within the App Store, I'll be able to look at every individual application we have. I can click on over to CRM, and then I'm going to go and remove that work orders app. This will instantly update the navigation. So now if I come back in here and I check out CRM, you'll see work orders is missing. You can also press on this link right here to customize apps. You're actually able to pick your top 5 right here. So if you're signing up today and you're looking to just make use of the CRM software, based on your knowledge of how we broke down the apps and what function they have like customer support, you can actually come in, we can customize your apps, and we can actually make sure that your apps are aligned exactly with how you're going to use the software. So let's say you're going to use contacts, you're going to use customers, leads, and opportunities. I can actually come and I can make those available right on the top of my page. So no matter what I'm doing, no matter where I go in the system, right up there, I'm going to have my most popular CRM applications available within one click. Okay, so what I just did is I just clicked on into a specific app. I clicked on the Contacts app right up here. And I want to point out a couple quick things right here. When you navigate into an application, it's kind of its own little environment. So now that we've moved into the Contacts app, you'll see I've got this text right up here. It tells me I'm in the Contacts application. You'll see you have a navigation on the left side, and everything you see here will filter specifically just your contacts. It's all unique to this app. Same thing with these buttons up right here. So going into the Reports area, it's going to show you reports just specific to the Contacts app. I can change settings just for this app. There's a trash bin, import utilities, and we can even search through data. Everything we're looking at below the main navigation will now be specifically for the Contacts app, which, as we talked about earlier, is a list of people. This means that if I have somebody's phone number, or if I have any details on them really, I can go ahead and I can run a search and go locate them. So let's just do something really simple. Let's go looking for somebody named Jake. And right away, I'll get my full list of Jakes that are sitting inside of my contact database. I could also filter through and locate a contact doing something like this. I can browse through by their category, by their region. There's actually customized filters that you can set up. So I'm going to show you this in just a moment of how to easily filter through and locate your data. But first, let's dive in and let me show you the activity management for a specific contact. So let's go ahead and let's find that Jake again. And we're going to bring up right here, Jake McAllister. And we're going to click on this More Details button. One quick little note. So if you're new to the system, you'll notice if I click on Jake's name right here, anywhere in this row, I instantly get this quick side panel view. And this allows me to very easily view some basic details. So if I needed Jake's phone number, you'll see it's visible right there, their email address. And it also allows you to quickly schedule more activities. So I can actually send an email to Jake from right here, or I could put in a reminder to call Jake next week. I can do all that from right there, but we also have a detailed breakdown on every record inside of our system. So instead of looking at this basic side panel, I can actually look over on the right. You'll see there's this button for more details, and this will take me into the full details about this particular contact. Okay, so once you're looking at a record in our system, you're always going to see a very similar setup. What we're looking at here is this Overview tab, but you'll notice there's a bunch of other tabs. The Overview tab is for data management. This contains all of the fields and information that you have related to this contact. So yes, the phone number and such that we saw before, but if we scroll down a little bit, you'll see there's many other pieces of information. So we can put in addresses, we can put in like their social media profiles, anything like that, and you can actually fully customize the fields displayed here. We're going to show you the field customization in just a moment. But other than just the raw business data you have stored in here, there's also the activities. So we mentioned that you should be able to look up when you spoke to Jake last and what you spoke about, and also when is the next time that you need to speak to Jake. So when we first logged in, I mentioned we have our agenda and our calendar and our follow-ups, and that's showing you everything across your business. So if you ever want to go look up the list of follow-ups for one particular contact or one particular customer, case, lead, whatever it might be, you'll have all of these tabs up right here. And these will match the same exact tabs that we saw on that main home page. So here we have a calendar link. But when we look at this specific calendar link, it's only going to show events that are related to Jake McAllister. Every one of these events will appear back on our main home page, and I can actually click on through. So you'll see I've got all my different events that are just related to Jake right here, so I can quickly get a picture of everything that we've done for Jake in the past. This also includes an area to log your phone calls. So we are able to come in here. You can get a history of phone calls. You can look at each call, how long it lasted, who spoke to who, and any notes that I took on it. And there's also like a general area to manage our notes. And we can even upload files to any contact from right here, including some integrations with Dropbox and Google Drive. This is all pretty standard stuff. What's truly unique about our system is the ability to go and have one centralized task list or one central calendar. So here, I've got my first sales meeting at hospital, scheduled with Jake. But the idea is, I might put in an event. So let's just go ahead and schedule a meeting with Jake next week. I'll go type in my typical details. Maybe I go invite Jake and all that. And I'm just going to kind of leave this empty so we can quickly create it. But you'll see that that event immediately pops onto the calendar. So here's the details of my event. If I click on the calendar for Jake, well, now we can see the new event is here. The typical way that you're going to utilize the system is when you're scheduling an event or a reminder. I'm already going to be looking at Jake because I just had to give him a phone call. So I had to look at his phone number sitting right here, and then I picked up the phone and I called him, and then I logged my phone call afterwards right here. And then the result of the phone call is I set a meeting with him next week. So now I want to go ahead and put that meeting in. But the idea is, as I'm doing all of these activities, I'm strictly looking at Jake's contact. But now we fast forward 1 week. I'm just going to log in the morning, and I don't necessarily know who I need to call. I already forgot about Jake. I talked to a million other people. So the idea is that Aptivo will serve up whatever's relevant to you right now. So if I take my agenda and I fast forward to next week, well, now I've got one view that shows me everything. So I can actually see my event from Jake aggregated right back up here. So instead of having to go to many different places, different applications, different systems even, you just get to check one spot. It's called your agenda. It's going to show you absolutely everything that you ever need to work on. And that's the true beauty of Aptivo's activity management. It's all integrated, although you can always dive in and go look at those filtered views. So see right here, I've got the same details on this event, but I can actually click on this contact. You'll see it'll give me that cool little side panel. So if I was going to go meet with Jake and then I need to like take a note on his account afterwards, I can actually add a note to his account right here. Add in something like that. Or I can dive in and go check out that full detailed view of Jake immediately. So we can go right back to that calendar where we just were a moment ago. Back on Jake's contact, check out the calendar, and once again, there's our event. That note that we just put in, well, it's present right here. So you see how everything is kind of interconnected. Although we have all these unique apps and unique features, the idea is that everything is very consistent. It all uses the same core features, so the way that you're going in and doing your day-to-day business activities should be very simple and just become second nature for you. Okay, so as far as the other activity management, I just want to kind of reference a couple different things here because we didn't really talk too much about digging up historical data. So you'll see I've got notes and documents and like my previous events and history and all that. But what if I don't want to have to check 5 different tabs? What if I just want to see, well, when was the last time I spoke to Jake? We actually have this excellent feature called Newsfeed. It tracks everything that you're doing inside of the system day to day. So whenever you add a new contact into the system, if you update somebody's phone number or if you track a new opportunity, anything like that, you'll see it pops up right here. So I can very quickly tell the last time that I've updated this account was, well, just a few seconds ago when I added that note. But let's say I wanted to look back further. When was the last time before right now that I spoke to him? Well, I can see 7 days ago I went ahead and I scheduled that general checkup call. So the idea is that all of my information should be pushed right here. And even when we go to like a customer record, for example, you can even see events related to invoicing and project management and all inside of this newsfeed. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is the email management. Email integration is excellent in Aptivo. We can connect with any IMAP email account. So in order to set that up, it's real simple. You just click on your name in the upper right corner, you go to Preferences, and each user can connect as many email accounts as they want. So you'll see right here, I have 2 email accounts authenticated. And what that is doing is it's constantly syncing your email with Aptivo. So what we're doing is we're monitoring your inbox, and we're actually trying to match your emails against the contacts in your database. And this part's really cool. So what this means is you might be using Gmail or Outlook. You can continue using your existing email client. You don't have to change anything that you're doing. You just form this connection. You get your contacts in Aptivo. And then 100% automatically, we will track your email conversations. Anything sent to you from Jake will show up right here in the inbox. There's also a sent folder for anything that you send to Jake. And this will catch everything. This means if you pull out your cell phone and you read an email from Jake, well, when you get back to your desk, it's in the inbox. If you use that same cell phone and you send an email to Jake, you're on the go and you just send him a quick response. When you come back to Aptivo, it will show in your sent folder. This can even show you emails sent by your colleagues. So depending on the security setup you have, I could go search by the email sent by a particular employee that I'm able to manage. Lots of flexibility here. But the idea is 100% of your interactions with this client, with this contact, they should all be tracked right here inside of the Contacts app. Okay, so that's activity management. We already talked about data management. There's 2 more key things that I want to show you. One is the business flows, so the actual sales tracking, which we're just going to kind of demonstrate pretty quickly. And then the other part is the ability to change the way that you manage your data and customize the data storage, and also how to easily go locate your data. So I'm going to show you our really flexible system for forming list of contacts and then going through that list of contacts and maybe shooting them all an email, things like that. So first, let's kind of quickly talk about the business flows. As we mentioned, business flows. Let's go ahead and take a quick step back to right here. We have many different business flows. These are our end-to-end business flows. within CRM, the only real business flow is a lead being moved on to the next stage, which is an opportunity. Once you get to the next stage of an opportunity, you're moving outside to a different area. So you're going into the financials apps or project management or supply chain, something like that. So for today, let's just quickly talk about the Salesforce automation portion. Okay, for this, let me go ahead and do the demonstration by going to a sample website. One quick little note, Aptivo is built on an API. Part of your premium plan will give you the ability to connect your website or any outside application directly to Aptivo. So this is a really common setup where you have your business website, and on that business website, you have a contact form. So I can type in some general details here. And then you can actually see add your own custom fields. A lot of this is just up to how you design it on the website. But I'm just looking to demonstrate the flow of intaking a sales lead from your website. Of course, you might get a list of sales leads by purchasing a spreadsheet of information from an outside company. Maybe you went to some sort of event or seminar and you collected a large list of business cards. All of these would be considered sales leads. So in this case, our lead was automatically created because somebody came in through our website. So I went into the leads application. I could filter my leads by, for example, where they came on my website or whether they came from a trade show or something like that. But in this case, we were actually lucky it popped up right on the top. So let's check out the details of this sales lead. Now, immediately when we come to this detailed page, you'll see it has the same exact tabs as the Contacts app. This is a very common theme in Aptivo, which is we are 100% consistent. If you see a Notes feature in the Contacts app, and there's also a Notes feature in the Leads app, it's going to work exactly the same. You should be very comfortable and familiar with everything in here. You're going to be able to leverage your knowledge from one app and immediately go apply it to others. Even if, for example, we go into like the invoicing application, you get these same tabs up here. That's really one of the great benefits of using an integrated platform like ours is there's much less of a learning curve because once you learn one app, you have now learned them all. So here on the lead, we've got our same exact activity management. So a typical flow for processing a lead is they come in. I'm going to communicate with them because I need to learn more about them. This means I either give them an email or I give them a phone call. Now, the results of the email or phone call could be me gathering more information on the spot or maybe like I set up a meeting. So let's go ahead and let's run through the scenario where you have a big list of leads and you're going through one by one, you're calling them, and then you're trying to move them on to the next stage. So you click on Laura Glyson, get the phone number, pick up the phone, you call them. Immediately afterwards, you always want to log your phone call. So this is where this side panel and the quick actions really come into play because I can now immediately and then let's say that they didn't pick up. So I create that phone line, and then what I probably want to do is put in a follow-up. So if they didn't pick up, I'll try again tomorrow. So now I can instantly move on to my next lead. I called them, and I'm going to go give a call to the next lead. So now I hop onto this one, and I do the same thing. I'm going to give them a phone call, use their number right here. I'm going to log that phone call afterwards. Yeah, and the results of this call is they picked up, everything went really well. I learned a little bit more information about them, and then we set a meeting up for next week. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll put in that meeting. So if we set something for like next Tuesday at 2 p.m., go ahead and just key in those details. I could invite some other attendees and such. Our calendar feature is meant to be really similar to any calendar software that you currently use. And then the idea is my reminders in there. But also maybe I learned like their full name, their company name, and everything like that. So yeah, of course I can just click on these fields right here, or I can make some quick changes. So maybe I found out that Kyle is actually their first name. So I can update the details like that, but you can also dive into your more detailed view at any time. And that'll show you every single field available. So maybe I know like exactly where their business is located, they're in the Western United States, and I know his company name. And there's many other fields. Every one of these fields is customizable, which we're going to show in a moment. So if you don't have a field that or if you have a field that you don't need, you can actually remove it, or any other fields that just aren't relevant to your company, you can definitely take control of that functionality, no problem. The idea is that maybe at this point in your business you consider this qualified, so you need to move it on to the next stage. We said there's leads and opportunities represent a deal. So every business is different. There's actually a nice article on how to determine what the difference between a lead and opportunity is for your particular company. But in this case, let's just say when you set the first meeting, that's the point where we move our lead on to the next stage. So I can convert this sales lead. You'll see that the lead can go into all three of those other objects that we were talking about. So it's actually taking the lead, and it's going to split apart like the name and the business information and the information about the deal, and it will put it into the correct application. So at the end of this process, we're actually going to have a contact that can be reused in the future. We're going to have the customer, which represents the actual business, and the opportunity, which represents the sales deal that's still on the table. So in this case, because our system is copying over all the information that we've already typed in, I really don't have to do anything. I just get to scroll down, I just kind of validate that everything looks okay, and then I hit the convert button. And once we get to the opportunity, we'll want to do a little bit of work. So I'll want to name it in a manner, okay, well, what is this specific deal about? And there's many different things here. So we can control the stage of the deal that we're in, when is this deal actually going to close, how much money is this deal worth to us, and how likely is it that we will close this. And based on all this, our system will actually do some sales projections for you. So we have this nice pipeline dashboard inside of the opportunities application. And you'll notice, okay, well, now I've converted my lead. It'll say opportunity created successfully. But actually, we're still looking at the lead right here. Lead Kyle Larson. We're in the leads app. It didn't move us away. But if we scroll down, the lead has been instantly updated. And now it links to those other records. So here's a link to the contact. Here's a link to that sales opportunity. And we can click right here, go to the Opportunities app, but I'm actually going to go up to the top and click on the Opportunities app. Now this brings up that pipeline dashboard, and you see you just get a nice visual breakdown of expected sales over the next few months. But we can also browse month by month based on when things are going to close, and we can go find that opportunity for Kyle. Now once in the Opportunities app, well, once again you notice you have the same exact tabs. You're doing basically the same thing here. You're emailing them, you're calling them, you're meeting with them, you're maybe putting in a task for yourself to write up a sales proposal, you're taking any information they send to you, you're putting in the notes, putting it in the documents. You're just storing all the information you have right here. And then eventually you're getting to the point where you close the deal, and then maybe you have to initiate your project, whatever your flow is afterwards. You'll notice just like there was a convert button on the lead, even though we're moving outside of the CRM, we have the same conversion flow. So here you can see the three potential paths that I have enabled in this business, which is I might take an opportunity and move on to a quote. We have an online quoting software. Maybe I immediately move to sending them their first invoice and collecting payment, or maybe I have to go initiate the project. There's also like an order flow and some other capabilities like going to a work order. It all just depends on your business, but this is all kind of outside of the CRM. So this is where we're going to stop the business flows. And what we're going to leave you with is the way to customize and really leverage the flexibility of our platform. So for this, let's go ahead and switch on over to the Customers app. This is your main database of accounts. So these are all the people who have been purchasing from you. You've got past deals. There's many different things that you might want to look at with this data. Let's say that you're running a marketing campaign. You have a campaign where you can offer a special deal to customers in a certain region. Or maybe you want to find all of your customers over a certain size of employees. Many different ways where I might want to get a list of information back. Now our system is extremely flexible in this regard. First, let's talk about the fields. If I click on this Maxilon customer, I bring up the details. That overview tab we've been looking at has all the fields. And what you'll see is, by default, Aptivo gives you all the basics. Phone number, fax, address, name, category. We build a lot of this stuff in there for you, just kind of industry standards. But you'll see in my example, I've got this section called Office and Network Details. And these obviously aren't generic. They're not designed for any business. I've actually created these myself, just for this company. Because in this example business, it's an IT services company. So they need to know about like the internet connection and the wiring and what type of building it is that they're going to be going into. These are important data points for their company, but your company might have some completely different data points. So what you're able to do is take our initial setup when you install Aptivo as a stencil for what you will be doing. And we can come in and change everything. So let's say you come in and you have this status dropdown. You don't want this. Project focus, even though these are actually custom fields, we can remove these. And we could also go add our own fields like we saw a moment ago. Everything is controlled through the settings. Each of these apps that we've talked about has its own settings area, has its own field customization. So you can go app by app and control exactly what information you want to store about individual people, what information you want about accounts, and what information you want about your sales deals. And then it's just a matter of deleting things. I can click on them. I can change the name. I can add or remove values. You can rearrange whatever you want. And you'll see over here on the left, I can even create my own. So I can create a brand new section of fields altogether, I can rearrange my existing sections, or I could open up one of my custom sections and I can throw in a field. So I can throw in a radio box or a drop-down menu. Whatever you want to do, you're going to be able to store that information inside of here. So now that you've stored your own information, so in this example, I've got office type, and it's got like high-rise and some other details in there. What you can actually do is we can form filters or customize lists of data based on whatever criteria you want. Using our advanced search feature, you will see every single field available here. And this is updated in real time. So you see like the field that we just removed is no longer visible here. Those custom fields that we have put into the system are visible here. So for example, I can find all of my high-rise customers, and I could even specify a second filter, such as all of my high-rise customers from a specific sales territory. So all high-rise customers in the Western United States. I can run that search, and you'll see I get my filtered list back. So in this case, it's only 2 matching records. But let's say that I'm going to go through this list of people, and I'm going to give them a phone call. Or maybe because I already see my phone number here, let's take the situation of I want to send them a postcard. I'm going to send them like a mailed out offer. So I need their physical address. What I can do is if I need their address, instead of having to click on each record and then go find their address right there, I could actually make the address visible right here in the search results. And that's all controlled through this little drop-down menu up here for display. So you'll see I can actually flip through. You can, inside of your settings area, you can control some basics. So I can actually click on business information. You'll see it changes the columns up here. But I can just pick exactly what I want to see. So in this case, I ran a list of my Western U.S. high-rise customers, and I want to send them out a mailer. So instead, I'll come through and I can remove all the details I don't want and add in the ones I do. So I'll go to address and then I'll expose their address details. And then I'll come through and I'll find all these other ones that just aren't relevant for this particular need, and I can hide them away. So now you'll see instantly I've got this customized view which exposes their address details. And there's a lot of things you can do with this. One is I can save it away for later. So if you're going to run this list every week, every 2 weeks, or even every year, save it as a view, Western U.S. mailing list, something like that. You can even share it with my colleagues. Every one of your saved views appears right here under My Views. So you see I got a ton of customized views that show me exactly the data that I want in one click. Now with any of these lists, we can actually perform many different actions. So yeah, you might just click on each one, run through one by one, send them out a mailer, put a note on their account, whatever it might be. But let's say that I want to update them all. Maybe you're doing an overhaul on your territory, so you're moving this group of people to a different territory. Well, I can select any set of records, and we have quite a few bulk actions here that you can perform. So I can actually adjust any field. So if I want to come through and make mass adjustments, you'll see even my custom fields are available here. So I can just bulk edit my data. But we also have a couple cool things, such as being able to bulk email a list of people. And you can actually bulk email a list of people with a standard email template that will be personalized for each one of them. So although you might not have seen us call ourselves email marketing software online, we absolutely offer some capabilities here that you might not have thought you could do. So we have great email integration. I can mass email a list of people, and even some other cool things we can do here. Let's say that you wanted to print out this list because you're going to go give it away to the mailroom manager who's actually going to be delivering these postcards. So I want to export the data, but I don't want to give them all the different details stored in the CRM. But you'll see right here, when I go to export, I can actually export all details in CRM or just the current view. So I actually have a customized report right here that I can download really quickly, and it will show me just these couple customers and just the details that I've specified. So you saw how simple that is. You can go through. Definitely one of the things you'll be doing a lot is customizing the application, figuring out which customized views that you particularly want to use. Okay, so that's going to be it for today's presentation. Hope you all find it useful. As far as continuing on and getting further details, we absolutely recommend checking us out. Head on over to aptivo.com/community. That's our primary knowledge base where you can seek help. You'll also find details on like those end-to-end business flows, which we've discussed today. And then also check out our YouTube channel, just youtube.com/aptivo. And we have lots of great online videos, such as this one we'll be uploading right here. Okay, so that's it for today's presentation. Thank you everybody for attending, and we'll see you next time.